Time now for the business news with Nicholas Poynton. Nicholas, okay, so we've got a fresh bid for Abano Healthcare. Who's putting the offer on the table?
Yeah, so Abano Healthcare, dental company, they own the Lumino and Maven dental brands. But before we get into this new bit, it's probably worth taking a bit of a trip down memory lane with this company, because Abano's big institutional investors, look, they've been looking to exit this company for some time now, several years almost. And pre-lockdown, there was actually an offer on the table from an Australian investment firm called BGH Capital and the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan.
Oh, yep.
So look, they came together.
Before, yeah.
Yeah, they came together and they put this bid on the table, but it was actually scuttled by the pandemic. There was a clause in the contract that allowed this partnership to effectively terminate the takeover if there was a material adverse change in trading conditions. Well, we had the pandemic, and so you sort of saw what happened there. So Abano today, they announced a new offer is on the table. It's from the same duo, the same partnership. It has the support of the company's board, but unfortunately, the buyout price is actually a lot less than what was on the table previously. As chief executive says, the board, look, they've considered a range of options, but they think this is the best one and it offers them a degree of certainty going forward. If the shareholders do not agree when this is put to a vote in November, the company says that they're going to have to look to the share market to actually raise about $50 million in capital to keep the business, sort of well-oiled, keep the machine ticking. So they say that, look, and the thing with this new deal that's on the table is that there is no termination clause in it. So that's another win there for the shareholders, that this one cannot be terminated at the last minute, as that we saw last time. And this news coming out of Abano today, it's quite a big day for them actually. They actually reported their full year result. They saw a nice chunky $50 million full year loss. It's due to a significant write down the value of its assets. We've seen that with a lot of the companies for their full year results. Its revenue was down by about 12% on last year. That's due to the lost trading they saw during lockdown. But they're saying that since we've come out of lockdown in the months of June and July, they've seen a noticeable uptick in trading. So, look, a big day for Abano, but some good news there to finish off for them.
Okay, let's look at the ANZ's latest survey of business confidence. I'm interested in how it's looking, but first off, when did they take the survey?
So yeah, this survey actually it crossed over for this month. We got some of that time where we were outside of the alert level restrictions and some time in. So we kind of get a good spread from the survey. I put that question to ANZ's chief economist, but the results from the survey, you'd kind of be surprised really, because they're not really as bad as you'd probably think, given the fact that, our biggest cities spent about 2.5 weeks in alert level 3. Headline confidence for the month, it slid by about 10-ish points to about a net negative 41.8% for the month. The more closely followed view of firms, how they're feeling about their own future, that also slid by about 8 points. But, if you compare these results with the preliminary survey that ANZ does for the first week of the month, they're pretty much unchanged. There hasn't been much movement at all. ANZ says this is probably because as we came into August, we're actually starting to already see a bit of a slowdown in activity. Confidence was already beginning to take a hit because as we came out of lockdown, as we've talked about numerous times, there's that huge bounce out of activity, and we've seen that bounce sort of lose its spring a bit. And this lockdown we've just had, ANZ did make the point that, look, it was a regional lockdown, and for the most part, most businesses were able to trade, and it just wasn't as bad as what we saw the last time, second time round. But I think one interesting thing about this particular survey was that they actually gave us a bit of a sector breakdown. They sort of shone a light about how various sectors around the country was doing. And one that has been a surprise winner, a bit of a bright spot, has been construction. There's been a huge spike in headline confidence. And ANZ says this is because there's just a lot of confidence in the housing market at the moment. The Reserve Bank has taken all these measures. We've got such low interest rates, credit conditions have eased, and that's really supporting the housing market. But I should probably mention that not so good for commercial construction and business, and it's having quite a limited impact on sort of businesses as well. So housing's really enjoying the most of those measures taken by the Reserve Bank.
Hey, so do we have any markets numbers? Did you have to pick up the dog and bone and give them a call?
Yeah. It's been a funny old day at the NZX, hasn't it? But look, no, my Reuters screen was telling me that the market, we actually saw a surprising rally in early trading today. It actually, the share market eclipsed previous records, but since then it's sort of fallen off a cliff. fell by today. So the NZX Top 50 did close down nearly 1.3%, or about 156 points, to 11,937. And this is in line with adjustments we've seen in indices across the world, really. Our dollar is trading at 67.3 US cents, 91.5 Australian, 50.4 British pence, and gold is up a touch for the day to $1,968 an ounce.
Thanks, Nicholas. No Nicholas Poynton business report would be complete without the price of gold.